stop trying to get rich quick, or stop being motivated by the idea of getting rich.
My first time doing it, I actually was really frustrated at the end of the hour because I feel like I didn't actually solve the answer to the question. I see so many people get stuck on what's the name of my business, and you have to figure out your name too. How do I start my business, incorporate it? How do I get a bank account? How do I create a logo? If a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, that means my kids' kids have something left behind from me. Welcome to the Christian Entrepreneur Podcast. I always wanted to learn from people that weren't just successful, but put Jesus at the center of everything they do. I couldn't find it, so I did what entrepreneurs do best. I created it. On today's episode, I'm joined by my beautiful and lovely wife, Esther. Say hi, Esther.
Hey.
And we're going to kick off this new podcast. Guys, I've been running the Cody Cottle show for over 81 episodes. I love podcasting. I love bringing wisdom to you guys. But God has given me, he just spoke to me that I needed to make this podcast not about Cody, and I needed to make it about the Christian entrepreneur. And before today's topic, because I'm just talking, is we're actually going to teach those of you that are Christians that want to start a business, how to actually start a business. For my business owners and my Christian entrepreneurs that already have a business, you're going to get value from this too, because we're going to walk back through the fundamentals and the basics that all of us business owners should constantly be going back to. Now, before I get into this, babe, I just want to say that even Esther and I, we're praying before and talking, guys, that I believe that faithfulness is multiplication. And John Bevere breaks this down really good in his book, X Multiply. And see, Jesus, when he spoke to his disciples, he would tell stories, right, of the parable of the talents. And there was another story of a master, which, guys, the master's God. And of the servants are us. And he would talk about how the servants that were entrusted with something, like the parable of the talents, the ones that were faithful multiplied what God gave them. And when the master returned, when we go to heaven, this is what the story's illustrating for us, the servants that multiplied were given more. They were given increase. The servant that did nothing with what God gave them, buried it in the ground, was called wicked and lazy and unfaithful. And it was taken from him and given to those that were faithful. So I want to hit on this. Why is it important to build a business? It's important to build a business because there will never be another you in the world. And God created Esther, beautiful Esther, perfect the way she is. And inside of her are gifts and talents and ideas and dreams and passions. Many of you have heard me say this. I wear a bracelet that says there will never be another you. Esther has a responsibility to multiply what God entrusted her with before she dies, before she goes to heaven. How that looks, how that's lived out, how that's expressed is going to be different than you or I. I'm not saying all of us have to be business owners. I'm not saying you're not faithful if you aren't a business owner. But what Esther and I have found is one of the greatest ways to express that and live that out tends to be the marketplace, tends to be because a business owner creates a product or a service with their gifts and talents and finds a way to give it away to the world. And I talk to entrepreneurs and people that want to start businesses almost every day, especially since we launched the Christian Entrepreneur Club. Christians all around the world right now are responding to our ads. Many are saying, how do I start a business? And I started realizing there is a hunger, there is a desire for many of you to want to know how to actually build a business. So in today's episode, we're going to dive into that, aren't we, babe?
Yep, it's going to be fire.
Come on.
Get ready.
Let's go. All right. Well, I want to pull up some notes here, and Esther and I are going to take you through a simple framework. These are going to be short, powerful, impactful episodes. Stay tuned, lean in, take notes, but not if you're in your car. We don't want you to crash. Step number 1, identify what you're good at. Identify what you're good at. And Esther, I have an exercise for them I want to give them. But before I do, what would you say to somebody that is listening to this show that's like, all right, Esther, I'm a Christian. I've always wanted to build a business. And you're telling me identify what I'm good at. Like, how did you do that? What would you say to them?
I think it all starts with really what frustrates you about a problem in the world that you see. something that you cannot stand the suffering other people are going through, and it's connected to a solution that you have or something you've gone through.
Yeah.
Because even in knowing what we're good at, maybe that's the knowledge that we had where we went through a period of time where we didn't know that, and it caused us to go through heartbreak or financial crisis or, whatever that issue that we went through was. Now we know, we have the revelation, we have the tools. We're like, wow, my life is so much better because of this. And now I see thousands of other people going through the same thing, but they don't know and they're in the dark.
Yeah.
So like it could even be as simple as that of like, wow, I have this experience that I want other people to learn from so that they're alleviated from that suffering.
That's so good. You know what I was thinking of as you said that, babe? I was like, there are a lot of people in the world that just maybe default to, like, especially people that aren't Christian and really seeking Jesus and God in their life first, that maybe for them a business is just to make money.
Totally.
I want to tell everyone listening to this right now, if your only motivation to build a business is purely to get rich and to make money, you will fail.
Right.
Because you're not passionate about the problem you're setting out to solve. And business is extremely difficult. It's extremely hard. And you will give up in the process. But like what Esther said, what do you like on fire for in the world that you want to solve? And I mean, this could be the littlest thing. There are people that have invented things that are Christian entrepreneurs, that are incredible kingdom builders, that saw a little issue and they're like, man, this thing really frustrates me. What if I invented something to solve this problem? And that's their business.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be super spiritual or even sexy, like, oh, wow, I need to create like this really deep, meaningful, life-changing problem in the world. It can actually be something very practical. I mean, people are frustrated even internally in your own world. Maybe it's your family. You're tired of going through generational poverty, and you're frustrated and you want to break that curse and you don't want your family to suffer. So that can be even that motivating frustration that causes you to say, okay, God, who am I? And like, what do I have to serve? And what is that breakdown of that problem that I can solve?
Yeah. And I just want to say there's such a divide in the church when it comes to money. Like, it's not to be spoken about. There's a lot of religious people that look down on wealth building. I don't agree with that, guys. I really don't. I believe that God created you and I to live a prosperous and a full life. And, when people pull up the scripture about money, guys, it's the love of money that is the root of all evil. It's not money. And love means something has your heart. So if money has your heart and the reason you do things are fueled by the spirit of mammon, then I would agree. It's going to corrupt you. It's going to take you away from being focused on God and more focused on money and wealth and mammon. But if you seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and you have a relationship and you have a healthy fear of the Lord, everything else the word of God says is added onto you. It's in the Bible. I encourage you, go read your Bible. Go get your own revelation on it. Even go in the Old Testament, go into Proverbs. But I do believe we are called, and it even says a good man in Proverbs leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So if a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, that means my kids' kids have something left behind from me. The only way to do that generationally would be to build true wealth in this world that lives beyond my lifetime, my kids' lifetime, and into my grandkids' lifetime. And then it follows this by saying the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous, which makes me think that, okay, he's identifying and saying, Solomon is saying in Proverbs, wicked people are going to be wealthy. So yes, there are bad people in the world that have a lot of money, that are extremely wealthy, that are worshiping mammon. But God says, hey, don't worry. That wealth is being stored up for you because I have a promise to you. And then one of our favorite verses, we're going a little deep on this first point, Deuteronomy 8:18. It says that the Lord your God gives you the ability to produce wealth. Guys, catch this line. It doesn't say God gives you wealth. You don't pray to God, God, make me wealthy. God, make me a successful business owner, and poof, you're rich. It doesn't work like that. It says God gave you the ability. You're able to create wealth through the gifts that he gave you, right, babe?
Yep.
And then it says, as swore, and confirms the covenant that he made to your ancestors before you, which is talking about a covenant, a promise with God that was made with Abraham, that his children would be very fruitful, that they would have a lot. There was a covenant of wealth for Abraham's lineage, and confirms that to us. So, all right, now that we've hit on this, we went deep. I just want to give you a practical exercise. I coached people on how to start businesses for many years. Babe, like I would meet on Zoom calls with people. You've seen it, like 8 calls a day with people. And a long time ago, it was all about like how to start your own business. And the number one thing I would hear from people is I just want to help people. Guys, let me tell you, if your answer to starting a business is you just want to help people, you will get nowhere. I'm sorry, but I got to say it and I just got to go there. But a practical exercise that helped me, because that was me at one time, that was actually my answer at one time, was someone, and this didn't come from me. I went to a retreat in North Carolina. This guy was leading it, and he was an incredible Christian entrepreneur. And he said, I'm going to make you guys all put your phones away. We had to put our phones in a bucket. So we had no cell phone, no technology, no distractions in the middle of a cabin in the woods.
That's like the ultimate like survivor nowadays.
No Facebook, no
It's
Instagrams, no Google, no Chat
islands,
GPT,
just
y'all.
no cell phone.
But this is what he did. He said, all of you are going to spread out. You're not going to be near each other. You can go find your own spot in the cabin or go out in the woods. We had a little notepad, like a piece of paper and a pencil. And he said, I want you to go spend an hour in silence. You can't talk. And I just want you to go to God, and just in your mind, I want you to pray to him and say, God, who am I? And God, why am I here? So if you're struggling in your life and you want to be a Christian entrepreneur, you want to build your own business, and you're still stuck on, I just want to help people where you have no clue, I want to challenge you to spend an hour, no phone, no distraction, no talking, no people around you.
Yeah.
With a pen and a paper, write down these 2 questions. God, who am I? And God, why am I here?
Yeah. And what's going to happen is you're going to be shaken to your core and moved from passivity to active. You know, that sounds really cute. I just really want to help people. It sounds really spiritual. You know, it sounds like, oh, you have a good heart. You just want to help people. But that's not enough. And God is actually convicting us to go deeper and say, okay, well, I've put a calling inside of you and I've put gifts inside of you. Now let's activate it.
Yeah. And when you ask God who you are, what it's going to do is it's going to be an exercise of you really starting to think of like who God created you to be and why you're different from other people. And that goes into that second question of like, why am I here? And when you start like asking God, like, have you guys ever thought about it? Do you really think you're just here just to like exist and then die? Because I don't believe that.
No.
I think you were created on purpose for a purpose. You were different. You know, why didn't he make us all look the same, talk the same, have the same gifts, have the same talents? It would have been a lot easier on his part, a lot less work if we all were just here to exist. But no, he made us so unique, so different. It says he knit us in our mother's womb, right? Like he knew the plans then that our life would have. So I also want to say that if you go do this exercise and you don't have this crazy revelation, that's okay. My first time doing it, I actually was really frustrated at the end of the hour because I feel like I didn't actually solve the answer to the question. But what it did do is it got me to start thinking that way. And I went home and I kept going back to that. And I think I did the exercise 4 more times. And that's when I started realizing, wait, like I'm kind of good at this and this comes natural to me and I'm really passionate about this. And I really feel like God gave me this gift of communication. And I've always had this ability to like encourage and like motivate other people. And you start identifying these things and it's okay just to brain dump and write down whatever comes to your mind. Because that's what I started doing. Then I started circling all of those things. And I started figuring out like, okay, this is who Cody Cottle is. Not what Instagram says I am, not what Google says I am, not even what Esther says I am, or my mom or my dad, but this is who I feel I am when I spend time with my Father. All right, so that's step number 1. We had to go deep because that's the foundation. Step number 2, now that you have this, you know what you're good at, you know who you are, pick your vehicle.
Yeah.
Pick your business. And I want to say that your passion does not have to become your business. So I had this messed up for a while. I thought the only business I could ever create was the thing that I was passionate about. I actually don't agree with that because I've met many successful entrepreneurs that their passion in life is a thing they do outside of their business or that they're able to give away to the world because they're fruitful in their business. However, within their gifting, they found a way to use those gifts to build the business that they have.
Right.
So step number 2, pick your vehicle, pick your business, identify what business you want to start.
So with that, are you also saying like the how? Like in essence, is it online that you're going to deliver this product or service? Is it a physical thing? Is that kind of
Yeah, well, you have to know what
Yeah.
business. Like maybe you are, maybe you, let's go even simple. Maybe your uncle has a plumbing company. He's been very successful. You've helped him on some jobs. You were really good at it. You've thought about some of your skill sets and you're like, I think I could build a really successful plumbing business. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's your business. Maybe you want to build an online business. Maybe you want to get into the digital marketing space like Esther
Yeah.
and I have gotten into, and you want to create a product or service with things that you're good at. You want to
Yeah.
educate. You want to teach other people. You have to identify what business you're going to build. We've kind of did the why before. So the why was that first exercise. Now it's the what. The how comes later. Don't worry about how right now. Just worry about what you're going to
Yeah.
do.
That's great.
Yeah.
Super good.
Okay, now that you've figured out what you're good at, you've picked a business. Number 3 is you got to do market research. Who's already doing something similar and what can you learn from them? Anytime I get into a business, I go find about 3 companies on average that are doing what I want to do. If you pick something and you're truly inventing something that's never been done, you might be creating a new road, but that's very rare. Even in inventing something, we can go study inventors that have invented products within the area we invented and see how they took idea to conceptualization to minimal viable product to bringing to market to scaling. But we have to do research on what it is we want to do. Don't get lost in the sauce. Don't spend the next year researching. Spend a day or two just looking up some companies, go on Google, find out what other people are doing, bookmark their website, look at their language, look at their offer, maybe go through their sales process, see how they try to sell you their product, maybe buy their product. That's some good market research. Anything you want to add?
No, I think that's really good. I would say in the process of doing that, make sure that you are gathering research and data based on not comparing yourself, first of all, because there is going to be that challenge that you're going to face of like, oh crap, like there's tons of other people out there doing something similar. What makes me different? Like, don't get discouraged in that process because you're going to see people doing very similar, if not the same thing. And then also make sure that you're recognizing, okay, how can I set myself apart and be different? And like the propositional value of what you want to do in that same lane. Also not copying or taking what they're doing and just doing it the exact same way, just with your branding and name on it.
That's really good. The 2 parts of that, right? Like, don't get discouraged when you see other people doing what you want to do. Guys, there are 8 billion people in this world.
Oh,
there
man.
is more than enough to go around for all of us.
Absolutely.
I have many people I've mentored and coached that have created exact same business models as me, and I've never been threatened by that.
Yeah.
And I've been inspired by other people that were my mentors that I learned a lot from how they built their business to build my business. And we have that mindset, never lack, right? That there's more than enough to go around. I love that. And then I love the second point you hit of don't just go rip someone's stuff off and steal everything they say verbatim to build the exact business. You are called by God with your own gifting and your own lens. You see those things through that makes your product and service so much different. Even if it's the same deliverable, how you do that, how you communicate that, how you operate that's still going to be different. Esther and I can have the same business plan. We're going to completely still serve in a different way because we're created different.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
All right, number 4, identify the problem you're solving and for who you're solving it. Once you know the business you're building, you need to know who's buying this product or service. And businesses don't exist to make money. Businesses exist to solve problems.
Right.
So that's why I love being a Christian entrepreneur. One, I love God and I love being faithful and multiplying, right? Christian. But entrepreneurship is nothing more than a problem solver. So we literally solve problems in the world. What problem are you setting out to solve in your business? Now, be careful. When I got into digital marketing, even the coaching world and all that, there is a lot of problems that fit inside of this, business that I picked in digital marketing, man, I could do people's websites, copywriting, social media, paid ads, organic. Like there are just so many things, SEO, like email marketing, text message marketing. Like there's a lot, right? And the master jack of all trades is the master of none. We've all heard that. Inside of the business you pick one problem to solve right now. Don't worry about having multiple offers. One problem, one offer, one avatar. It's going to be really hard for some of you guys. You can get shiny object syndrome. I've been there. One problem, one solution, your offer, one avatar. Yeah. That's it.
I will say, though, let's be realistic. It is a bit of a journey and process to really make sure that that is the problem. Like once you identify it, choose it, but then know that that might alter and it might change.
Yeah.
And it should if you're not seeing it absolutely take off or people be like, oh, wow, like finally somebody.
Well, it's going to get refined.
It's going to be refined.
And here's the thing, though. Stick with it for 6 months.
Yes.
I have so many people I meet that start a business and don't stick with it for 6 months. And because they don't stick with it for 6 months and they change on 3 weeks, I didn't make a sale, and they change in another 4 weeks, another 6 weeks. You're always changing, and you're also confusing your audience, and no one knows what you're actually really doing or the problem you've set out to solve. So yes, I do agree, though. This is a journey you have to start, and you will get better and more clear and more refined. And know the problem you solve and the solution and how you deliver it, it will get better. It'll get improved. Like we launched the Christian Entrepreneur Club, right? And at first we're going to equip, Christian business owners. We believe they want, the business strategy, the coaching, the mentorship to grow their business. That was actually the last thing they wanted.
Yeah.
What our avatar, the person we're really seeking out to help, was actually the Christian business owner that feels alone in building their business and wants community around them, because building a business is really hard, and building a business as a Christian is even harder. So we set out first all the strategy stuff, and then we learned through talking to these people what they actually care about was different. Now we still provide masterminding, business strategy, how to scale, how to grow your business, but we don't lead with it. We lead with what they really want. Sell people what they want, give them what they need.
Yeah.
Right? So that's really good, babe. All right. Next one is you have that identify the problem you solve and for who. And this kind of rolls off of that. But like, what's your offer? This is so important. What are you selling? What is the offer? What are people getting? How much does it cost?
Yeah.
Write down, what's my offer? What am I giving people? What am I charging? How am I delivering it? That's it.
And is it something that people even have time for? And it's the way, because it might not be what you're delivering, but how you're delivering it.
Well, I don't think we're going into how yet.
No, but I'm saying that really making sure that your ideal person that you're speaking to and the problem that you're solving.
Don't make an offer that they're not going to have time to do. But many times you won't know that. Like there's such I would prefer they just have an offer they put together and go try to sell it. Yeah. Their avatar will teach them what they want and how they want it delivered through the selling and the delivery of it.
Right.
But if they're trying to figure that out, they might not know that answer. If you've never sold a product or service, you don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. So we call this your incubation phase. You got a baby you just started. The baby's in the incubator just trying to grow. You're trying to take an idea and a dream and a passion to build your own business, and that is okay. I know it is scary. I know there's a lot of fear. I know there's a lot of doubt. Go through those 5 steps. And then we're going to roll into the next part, which is the action phase. This is my favorite phase. Now it's time to get to work, guys. Once you've done those 5 steps, I'm going to take you through some very simple things. Incorporate your business. Whatever state you're in, Google, how do I start a business or file an LLC in, for us, California? It's very simple. Don't let people sell you a bunch of BS. You can go on the Secretary of State's website. You can file your business for a couple $100s and incorporate it online. You do not need to go spend thousands of dollars with an attorney. I have probably incorporated 10 businesses at this point. It's very easy. Next, get a bank account. Get a bank account for your business. Once you incorporate, get an EIN number, which is like a social security number for your business. I know I'm hitting some basics, but we got to hit on these. Go get a bank account. If you have good credit, go get a credit card. With that, maybe even with that bank, get a business credit card. Be responsible, use it for your business, but these are important assets you need to set up. You need to spend money to make money in business. The next thing, number 3, is create a brand, and this is going to include your logo, your colors, etc. Use Canva. It doesn't need to be perfect.
Totally.
Esther is the Canva queen. I want to say these 3 things. I see so many people get stuck on what's the name of my business, and you have to figure out your name too. How do I start my business, incorporate it? How do I get a bank account? How do I create a logo? They'll waste like a year thinking about those 4 things and never take action. These things should not take you more than a week. These should not take you more than a week. Done is better than perfect. So now that we got that out of the way, anything else you want to hit?
Yeah, I would say that the reason why it's taking you so long, and this could really speak to you listening right now, we're like, well, I really want to make sure that it's the name and the thing and I'm hearing from God. Honestly, you're thinking too much about yourself. You're thinking too much about how people are going to either misunderstand you or what people are going to think about you, and really doesn't matter. It really does not matter. So I think just like go with a simple name that explains who you are and what you do, and just keep it at that, and eventually over time, like, you'll upgrade it, you'll refine it.
Yeah, and like I've changed my brand multiple times, and just like a lot of people, like the entity that they originally created, they create DBAs off of doing business as. You can do as many DBAs as you want of different brands you build in the future. So like even if it was just like your name incorporated, like that's fine. Like still in our business side, like Content Daily is still the LLC that holds everything. All right, so now that you got your business incorporated, a bank account, you created your brand, your logo, create your socials and your website if you want, but it's not necessary. I want to say you do not have to have a website to build your business unless like the way you sell your product or service is only through a website. We've built so many companies that we didn't have a website, that like we used our social media to sell our products or services or market it. I just don't want you guys to get so caught up in I have to build a website, it has to be perfect and all these things that you don't take action. Right now, even in your personal social media, just starting to use that and talk about your business and change your bio and start speaking about what you're going to do can drive business to your company. You don't need to have all these perfect assets in place. And I've seen so many people waste. I actually am the most frustrated in the world. The thing I've invested money in business that I like regret the most is people building websites. It is so stupid. I've never made good money through any of my websites. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars paying other people to do it, and is literally I never like it.
Yeah,
it's
just
never
do it
good
yourself
enough. Just
if you're gonna do it,
just do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like now we've learned, we taught ourselves. We use Go High Levels platform. We run and we build funnels through it, and everything we build, we just go in and do ourselves, because at this point I never seem to, maybe it's just me, be satisfied. And sorry if you own a website building company. I'm sure you're great at what you do. This is just my personal experience. And also, I think a simple landing page and a simple funnel, if with good traffic of the avatar to the offer, buys way better than a robust, cool, pretty looking website.
Yeah. So with that though, if you're not going to do a website, you definitely still need a form of billing people, invoicing, taking payment.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about payment processor. You definitely got to get a way to charge your clients. Stripe, if you're going to run business online, is probably the best and easiest and most user-friendly. stripe.com. Most of us in the online industry run transactions through Stripe. Highly recommend it. And you can set up in there, invoice, bill people. You can do subscriptions, recurring, build products inside of there. All that, and it integrates really well with about any kind of website you'd build. That was really good. I'm glad you hit that. All right, so now that you've got all that created, number 5, serve people.
Yep.
Serve people. Get out and start serving. Share on social media. Record a video. Post about what you're doing, the business you created. So many people will want to support you as a small business owner. Start serving people through your business. Talk about it. Be willing, and this is another one, be willing to work for free. I know this is crazy, but some of the best businesses I've ever seen built, people actually started serving, if it's service-based, for free in the beginning. Get client testimonials, get social proof, show people the value of what you're going to bring. I know a guy named Billy Jean. He's one of the top marketers in the world. When he started his marketing company, he lives in San Diego. He went to businesses and basically was like, hey, I want to work for free for you. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, like record videos, create some ads, this and that. You don't have to pay me anything. And he's like, I'll do it for free for a month. And if you get business and you like what I've done for you, let's sit down and talk at the end of the month. And he ended up landing all these clients. Dude's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars now, runs one of the most legit marketing companies in the world. And he started out walking door to door to businesses and saying, I want to work for you for free. No business owner is going to tell a marketer no if they want to work for you for free. If you're a videographer, hey, I want to go do some video for free for you. If you really like the work that I do, can we sit down and have a discussion about an ongoing relationship? If you run paid ads, hey, can I run paid ads for you? Maybe say, hey, will you invest $1,000 budget? I won't charge you anything to run them. And if you get results from it, could we talk about working together?
Yeah.
So there's all these different ways to lead with value. Anything you want to?
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, even today I saw Alex Hormozy post this thing and he said, stop trying to get rich quick, or stop being motivated by the idea of getting rich. Get better. Get better in your craft. Get better in understanding people. Get better in empathizing, really leaning in to serve. But before, like, I think a lot of times we're just trying to serve because we're like, oh, we have the solution. We have the solution. Our heart and our intention is good. But people feel like you're pushing yourself on them, and they're like, I don't even know you, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
So get better at listening, learning, and really honing in your craft and what you're providing so that it's so good that people are coming to you and asking you to help them.
Yeah. Guys, become excellent at what you do.
Yes.
And as Christians, we're called to lead with excellence. Excellence
Yes.
is our ministry. How we do one thing is how we do everything. I agree 100%. I think the biggest reason most people aren't successful in business is they don't take the time to master what they do. They don't put in the reps and refine the skill and the craft.
Yeah.
So I think that's really good. And the next point I want to hit on, this is how you make money.
Ooh, I like this one.
Start making offers. It's that simple.
Yes.
Start asking people to buy your product and service.
Yep.
I remember I met Myron Golden on a mastermind call through a coaching thing that I was a part of. He came in and spoke, and Myron teaches a lot of biblically based success principles as well. He's a great guy, incredible story. Used to work as like a trash man in Chicago to now multi-millionaire, helping people build multi-million-dollar businesses all around the world. And Myron was talking about how he'd help people have 6 and 7 figure days in their business. And I sat down with Myron. I said, Myron, I want to know exactly what you tell your client to do that, cut all the fluff out. And he said, Cody, I'll tell you. He says, very simple. He said, start making more offers, start making better offers, and start making offers to more people at once.
So you're telling me it's not this magic overnight solution and formula to make money?
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
It changed my life, guys. If you're a business owner right now and you already own a business, you're wondering why you're not making more money, start keeping a little sticky note or a tally every time you ask someone to buy from you or you make an offer every week.
So
I started doing that on my desk. I had a sticky note and I would just start drawing, little tally marks of how many people did I ask to buy something from me every week. And I started realizing, well, I only asked like 2 people this week. Mm-hmm. I mean, even if I'm a 50% close rate, I only close 1 deal. Yeah. And most people aren't even that. And I started realizing, how do I figure out how to make more offers? How do I start figuring out how to ask more people to buy my product or service? And then make better offers. Yes, improve your product or service, become excellent. But often, it's actually raise your prices. Mm-hmm. You want a higher quality, better offer, charge more money. Mm-hmm. And that changed my life when I started charging more money. And then make offers to more people at once. This is mastery, selling one to many.
Yes.
How do you create paid ads or organic social that gets massive traction? How do you make call to actions to many people? How do you sell from stage? And instead of selling one person one-to-one, and this is where I started making really good money, I started doing live events. I started building coaching packages and educational products and services and programs and academies. And I would sell to an audience of 100 one time selling them. And now 20% of that room, 20 buy, and my product is $3,000. I just made $60,000 in 1 hour instead of having to go do 100 sales conversations and close 20 of them and make the same $60,000. So that is really where you start figuring out, okay, I have a business, I have an offer, I have a product, I
So
have a
good.
service, I'm good at what I do. How do I ask a lot of people to buy it?
That right there is wisdom. That is wisdom, where you have the same gift and the same message, but you're realizing, wow, I'm making 2x delivering it this way. I can be making 10x delivering it this way.
Yeah.
That's wisdom. The answer to so many people's problems right now, to pay off their debt, to, whatever their family's needs are, is just one piece of wisdom that God can give you.
And we have a story with you. I'll briefly tell it because we've gone longer than I thought on this, but Esther had it. We were dating. Esther's engine went out on her car. She needed a brand new engine.
Heart attack.
Car died. And she needed like $8,000 and she was stressing about it. And I'm like, why don't we go create it?
Yeah. And at the time, all I was selling was a book for $20.
Yeah. Definitely would have to sell a lot of books, guys, making like $4 a book to make $8,000.
Which, I was like trying to do.
What do you make on every book? Let's do some math real quick. I want to break it down.
I make probably about $8 to $10.
All right. Let's just call it 8. So if we have $8,000 divided by 8, you would have to sell 1,000 books.
Yep.
At the rate you've been going, how long
crazy.
would that take you?
Oh gosh, probably. At least a year.
Okay. So it would have took Esther a year, guys, to get a new engine selling just her book. But what shifted and how did we incorporate the principles we just talked about, everything, for you to make that $8,000 in one day?
Well, like going back to the very beginning, even just like asking God, consulting the Lord, like, okay, God, what have you put in my hand? What are the gifts inside of me? We prayed. You really poured into me and prophesied over me about my business. So that was key number one. And then just waiting on the Lord for the wisdom to come, but thinking outside the box of, okay, I've done the book thing. Yes, that's an option, but how can I multiply in a shorter amount of time? And then came up with I got this idea one day of doing a masterclass. And on that masterclass, I would serve my community of single women and really help them get from point A to point B and healing in their heartbreak and all of that. And then on that call, I would offer them a 6-week program where on that 6 weeks, I would take them on a journey of restoration and finding adventure in their singleness and actual strategy for pursuing their calling.
So you figured out what you're good at.
Yep.
You put together an offer.
Yep. I took everything that I had written about in my book and I lived the experience.
And you talked about it online.
Yep.
You invited these women in to do a Zoom call.
Yeah.
A masterclass. And you made an offer to them.
Yes. And I charged money for it, right? So I charged like a low entry cost just so that they had like a reason to show up rather than it just being free. Because sometimes people don't show up to just the free stuff. So, and then on that, in the process, I put a value on what I believed my program would be worth. And so that it would.
And how much money did you make?
I made over $8,000.
Come on. And
I
you
was
did
able
that
to pay
from
for
that
my engine.
She paid for her engine from that. So that's a practical way Esther implemented that and lived that out. And you guys can do the same thing. I remember I was going through some financial troubles in my life and I was like looking at how I could like borrow money and like play the game with credit and all that.
Yeah.
And my mentor is like, bro, why don't you just go produce?
Yes.
Why don't you just go sell? You have businesses. Why don't you just go make more money? And I was like, started to try and make it. And I was like, dang it, you're right. And that's what I did and put an event on. And we made a ton of money and paid off all the debt and got our business back flush and everything right. Even for my business owners listening to this that are struggling right now, that are in debt, what do you have that you can figure out how to go sell? How can you take maybe your dog trainer and you've been doing dog training and right now you're hurting a little on cash flow and struggling to make payroll. How can you make a dog training course? How can you talk about it online? How can you run paid ads to it? How can you fill up a room full of people and pitch a $997 dog course and sell, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 worth of courses? There's always a way. All right. So this is the last thing as we wrap up here, guys. Be willing to fail until you get it right. You're going to fail.
Yes.
Point blank, period. I fail all the time. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to fall. You're going to scrape your knee. Be willing to be misunderstood. Your family is going to doubt you. Your friends are going to doubt you. People are not going to believe in you. And I want to say this. God gave you the dream for your business.
Yeah.
He didn't give it to them.
It's good.
You cannot expect them to understand what you're doing, what you're building, and you cannot seek validation from them. Because if you do, you won't get it.
Yeah.
And if you need it to build, you won't do it. It just won't happen. My whole family doubted me. Now they love me and are so proud of me. You have to go through that. You have to endure through that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the biggest one. Partner with God.
Yeah.
Partner with God in your business. Make God the CEO of your business. When you seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, all of these things will be added unto you. The Bible, the word of God, is the most potent, the most articulate, the most sound wisdom you will ever get for your business or for your life. If you just open up the word will get into you. If you partner with God, if you pray, if you partner with the Holy Spirit, if you ask for strategy, doors will open. He will speak to you. You will build, but you have to keep going.
So good. Powerful.
And the last thing I just wrote was keep going. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't believe the haters. Don't believe all the criticism. Let that be fuel to your fire to keep pressing in, to keep learning, to keep being a student. Be humbled in the process and believe that God will bring the promotion.
Yeah. And guys, if you stay in the game long enough, you will win.
Yep.
If you're a business
true.
owner listening to this and you haven't made much money in your business and you feel like you've been doing it for quite a while and you're ready to throw in the towel, you're ready to give up, I'm speaking to you right now. Do not throw in that towel. Do not give up. Stay in the game long enough and you will win. The only way you will fail in business is if you give up. And if you remove that if from the variable of the equation, it just becomes time times effort equals result. I don't know how long it's going to take you. I don't know how much effort you're going to have to put in, but I promise you, you will get a result. But if you take out yourself, the if variable, and you quit, you will not get a result. You will not win. Keep going, keep pressing in, keep partnering with God, keep praying. And the last thing I'm going to say is if you are a Christian entrepreneur or a Christian that wants to start a business, Esther and I are on a mission to come alongside 10,000 Christian entrepreneurs that feel alone in building your business and to create a community and an ecosystem of Christian business owners like us to have connection, to connect with one another, to collaborate with one another, to champion one another, and to coach one another to win so we can build the kingdom of God. If you guys want to be a part of that, go to christianentrepreneurclub.org, christianentrepreneurclub.org. You can sign up and be a part of our community. And yeah, guys, we're just so excited to be doing the Christian Entrepreneur Podcast, to have you with us. I hope you got value from this. If you know someone that needs this, a friend that's been wanting to start a business, send it to them, share it with them. The best way you can give us value is to like this podcast, subscribe to this podcast, leave us a review, share it on social, and just help get the word out about what we're doing.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
All right, guys, go make it a great day.